All right, good morning. Appreciate you tuning in to the Lake Jordan pre-tournament meeting. Getting the video out a little bit earlier this week than normal. We usually try to post this at 6 o'clock p.m. on the Monday night of the weeks that we have tournaments. Today, I wanted to do it a little bit different. So we announced the last couple of tournaments we were going to be doing something different and try to be somewhat innovative with what we're doing for this tournament with weigh-in because of a couple of different things. And so I'm going to not only just post the video on Facebook and YouTube, but I'm also going to email it out to all coaches, captains, and anglers. And so I wanted to go ahead and record it a little bit earlier this morning and get it sent out to you so that people's got time to view it throughout the day today. In order to do this, there's going to be a couple things that I really need you to pay attention to throughout the video. First off, before we get started, let me go ahead and say this, and I'll repeat this multiple times throughout the video because I think it's very important and I want each of you to kind of hear me and understand this. Um, we understand that sometimes when we make decisions, that it is not the best decision for every single individual person, and sometimes every single individual team. When we as directors come together and we make decisions for this association, we try to look at a variety of things. And this has always been our priority and the order that we look at things, and it's not changed in this. Number one is the safety of our anglers and our captains. You can fault us for several things. There may be decisions that we've made that that you don't necessarily care for. But at the end of the day, we want you to always be able to say that our association took the safety of our anglers and our captains in consideration, and that was our top priority. And sometimes, if we have to do things that we don't just love because of that, we're going to ensure that we're doing what we can to protect the anglers and the captains when they're on the water. The second thing we look at is fish care and how we preserve and our natural resources and just the conservation of those natural resources. We have made lots of changes over the years for fish care. We have adjusted the way that we do things, whatever the case may be, but that is always a top priority. And I'll tell you, in the last several years, I have been very, very much paying attention to our fish mortality, what we lose on each tournament, and trying to figure out is that something that we as a staff are doing, if the fish are already lost before they come to us. We take a lot of those things in consideration. And I'll say, as a whole, our association has done a fantastic job. We do publish the reports after every tournament so that you can see them. They're filed with the Department of Conservation as well. Guys, on average, the yearly average for the last 6 years has been 98% returned. On each tournament, we're usually 99% returned. Every once in a while, a 97 or 98% return rate. Very rarely do we have anything besides that. So, as a whole, our anglers and our captains do a fantastic job. Our staff does a really good job reviving fish, the ones that are struggling. We have a well tank that we want to make sure that we can do everything we can with those fish before we get them back to the lake and to conserve them. So, with that being said, as we've talked about the last several weeks, there's a lot of things in the news right now about the proposed regulations on Lake Jordan or on the Coosa River as a whole. And so, as a staff, we've kind of met, and I've talked with other tournament directors and other associations in our state as well that fish a lot on the Coosa River. And our goal has been, let's find a way to band together as tournament anglers and show that we're willing to take steps in order to conserve our natural resources and the fish and limit fish mortality. It's kind of hard to improve upon 99%. I mean, you can go to 100, obviously, but it's not that we're doing a bad job. But a lot of times perception is reality. And so when we get into some things on this tournament, we're not really making changes because we've had a disastrous tournament on Lake Jordan the last few years. Everyone knows it's Fish With Us. This is our one lake that we do a trailered weigh-in. I'm not a fan of trailered weigh-ins. Our entire staff is not a fan of trailered weigh-ins. Um, but we wanted to make sure that our anglers and captains could be safe on the water and safe while trying to navigate a way in at one of these sites. There's neither one of the ramp sites are large enough without getting very creative to hold a way in that doesn't pose some risk to our anglers, trying to get out of a boat. We don't want a situation where there's not dock space and anglers are trying to jump from a boat up to the bank or something to that effect, and they slip and get hurt. So that's always been a top priority of ours. And sometimes by trailing your boats and putting your boats on the trailer, that limited, some of those risks there. Fish care was another top priority. We moved our Lake Jordan tournament, as y'all have noticed, to the winter. We don't fish Lake Jordan now because we've done trailered weigh-ins. We don't fish it in April or May, summertime, or even September or October. We're fishing it this year in December. Last couple of years has been January or February. It's been cold because of that, but the fish are a lot less stressed. The water temperatures are low, and as a result, we've had really good um, fish care rates on these two lakes. With full transparency, last year we did the trailer weigh-in. We did it early, springtime, late wintertime. It was still cold. We lost three fish total that year. We had, I think, 197 boats, five fish brought in. We lost three. So we're not making these changes because we had a massive fish kill or anything. It is with the proposed regulations going on. Perception's reality, and we don't need there to be additional fuel on the fire because we have a large tournament going on that is trailering, fish to a different location. The year before that, we lost one fish on Lake Jordan. So 2 years, 180 to 190 something boats at each tournament. We've lost one fish and three fish. So our team has done a great job. You as captains have done a great job taking care of the fish, getting them transported. So I say all that to say the changes that are coming for this tournament are strictly because we want to band together with a lot of other associations that have said on the Coosa River, we're going to make some changes and see if we can't talk to the Department of Conservation and say that, hey, we as tournament anglers are willing to make some changes. If you're willing to listen to us, if you're willing to be open to possibly some new regulations that don't completely destroy the ability of our tournaments to take place. Because in the grand scheme of things, fish care has to be important to us. You as anglers, you as captains, fish care has to be important to you. And as a tournament association, it has to be important to us because if we're killing fish, then our opportunities to continue long term is not going to be there. And so we know that, we value that. That's the reason we have strict penalties in place for it. That's the reason that we do a lot of the things that we do. But we need the public to see that as well. And so part of that comes with being very positive online. Unfortunately, on social media, too many times, we have a lot of negativity that is shared. What we need to be sharing is the 99% return rate and the low fish kill and how great that our captains are doing in their live wells with keeping them aerated, making sure they're working, adding product, just taking care of the fish overall, being educated on general fish care topics, and bragging on those staff members that are on our staff that work the fish care tanks. Those are some of the hardest working guys that we have, guys and girls that we have on staff, and they are constant about getting those fish back in the water, checking on them if they need to be fizzed, if they need product, if we need, anything we can to do to make sure that those fish are ready to go back into the lake and have a high chance of survival. Those are the things that need to be shared on social media. Those are the things that we need to be blasting every single tournament is bragging on the good job that's being done and taking place. Um, we know it's taking place. We know those numbers are there. The problem is we often don't take to social media to brag on the good things. And so the few people that are negative about something they don't like, they didn't like that we're having a trailer weigh in, so they're going to spend all their time on social media bashing it without any real facts or statistics to back up the things that they're saying. Um, And we've seen that that has negatively affected the fishing industry as a whole. So I encourage all of you that are listening, be a positive, ambassador for tournament fishing and for the staff, the captains and anglers that do such a good job on fish care. Anytime that you can promote that, anytime that you can help combat any of the negative things you see, being positive on social media is definitely going to help our efforts. So, with all of those things, I say be open-minded. We know this is not going to be ideal for everyone. Um, we know that we all have a way that you like to do things, and that captains, you have a favorite ramp you want to use, and you have a favorite place you like to do things, and parents, you and your teams, y'all have a favorite setup where you like to bring your tents and your trailers, and you cook and you set up these certain ways. We're just asking you for this one tournament. We have 9 qualifiers. For this one, let's be open-minded and willing to accept trying something different this year. And let's see how it works. I think this is the best bet. Guys, I'll tell you, I've spent 15 to 20 hours this week over on Lake Jordan. I've been to all the ramps. I've been to multiple weigh-in sites. I've been out there measuring. I've been looking at things, keeping number one, our anglers and our captains and their safety in mind. Number two, keeping fish care in mind. Um, and then after that follows the ability for parents and grandparents and whoever, spectators, to come and watch the weigh-ins. We want that. We'd love to have you there supporting our student anglers, but that is secondary to the safety of our anglers and captains and the care of our fish. So now that we've addressed some of those things, I'd like to get into some of the details for the tournament. I know that was a very long intro, but I think it's very important to address that. It's very important how positive we are on social media and that we pay attention to the video, the things that are going to be said and presented today. And I ask you to please go by the things that we are proposing and asking of you so that we can make this as smooth transition as possible. All right, so I kind of already opened up for a while, but let's go ahead and do our opening prayer, and then we'll get into some of the details. Lord, thank you for this day and another opportunity we have to be back on the water, Lord, this weekend. We thank you for all the tournaments we've had so far this year. We thank you for the safety of our anglers and captains out on the water. We thank you for the safety of all of our members as they travel to and from the tournaments, Lord. We know from time to time there's been some accidents this year on the road, and we thank you for protecting those anglers and captains when those occurred. Lord, we ask you that this week, Lord, that we will once again be thankful that we have the opportunity to be out and just the outdoors in your wonderful creation. Lord, we ask that you'll protect everyone, that we will take care of the fish, Lord, that we'll all have a good time, and that we will give you the glory for everything. In Jesus' name that we pray. Amen. All right, so we're going to be on Lake Jordan if you haven't figured that out yet. So we're excited about being in Elmore County. Um, I work a lot when we're preparing these. This week, I've been in constant communication with Lisa Van Wagner with the Elmore County Economic Development Board as we've been going through options and stuff to do this. Because I can tell you that, as you know, we travel all over the state, every corner of the state. We work with a lot of different counties and tourism boards, and a lot of them are really, really good. Elmore County is up there at the top. They're super easy to work with. They're always excited to have you there. I don't know of another area that's more excited to have high school anglers in their area for a tournament. So we just appreciate every single thing that the Economic Development Board and Miss Lisa does, helping us get prepared for these tournaments. All right. I'm sure there will be tons of questions this week as we go through and do things. So do a couple things for me. Number one, comment on the Facebook Live video. So this video will be posted on Facebook. You can comment anytime that you watch that video. Okay. Comment on the video. We monitor that on a daily basis. And so if you comment on there, we will respond back to the comment addressing the things that you ask, but please make sure you watch the entire video before asking questions and make sure that they are addressed in the video, in case they're addressed in the video. Option two is the ASABFA cell phone, 334-300-4437. You can call, you can text. Keep in mind that during tournament weeks, I do get a ton of calls and text messages. So I will get back with you. Text messages are better because I can quickly respond. But if it's something you need to, do, feel free to call. If I don't answer the phone, shoot me a text and say, hey, give me a call when you have a chance. Got a question about this weekend. I'll get to you before we get to the weekend so that your question's been answered. All right, so the first thing I'm going to give you is packet pickup. So our packet pickup is going to be the same as before as far as time. We are going to go to a slightly different location. This is a location we've used in years past, but since we're not doing a trailer weigh-in, we're not going to use the sports complex and make you drive all the way around for your packet pickup. So packet pickup will be at the Wetumpka Civic Center. The address is here on the screen. I've got a picture on the next slide that kind of shows you what it looks like and where we'll be at. Um, Guys, if you go to the right address, I guarantee you that we will be there during that time. Every single time we have some call in and say, "Hey, I'm here," and no one's here. You're probably at the wrong location then. I guarantee you our staff will be there. Now, we may not be there at 5 o'clock. We've had some tournaments where people are calling at 5 o'clock and say, "I don't see anyone." Well, packet pickups between 5:30 and 6. Sometimes we can get there a little early, but that just depends. But between 5:30 and 6 o'clock, we'll be there. Just over 200 boats for the tournament. You can see the breakdown there with seniors and junior boats that we'll have. So a little 200, over 200 for the total. So this is what the Wetumpka Civic Center looks like. We'll probably be standing right here in front or maybe under the pavilion of the Civic Center. There is two entrances, so you can come in with a boat over here, drive through, pick up your packets, and then leave. So drive through just like always, but this is the building that you're looking for. We will be out there between 5:30 and 6. All right, so getting into some of the specifics for blast off. So this is very important. Everything that we're going to do officially will be run from Bonner's Point. However, the state ramp can be used to put in and launch your boat. I'm going to address this and ask some specifically to use that. Keep in mind that at Bonner's, the way that we do our blast off, that we have to use both of those docks, so the ramp will be cut off at safe light. So if you're out Bonner's Point, get there before safe light, well before safe light, and get in the water. Okay. The earlier you arrive, we can blast off as soon as safe light's there. We'll get you lined up according to your numbers. I'm going to show you where to stage. And guys, please work on your blast off penalties. It is not our goal of our staff to be giving out any type of penalties. We would love if from here on out we never penalized another person. Okay. But we've had the same rules for years. We go over it in all the pre-tournament videos and we say it on the microphone. So either sometimes it's honest mistakes, but a lot of times you're either not watching the videos, um, or you're not listening to the announcements in the morning. And a lot of times it's life jackets. Okay. So let's try to improve on that so everyone gets to fish. All right. So here's you some information. So this is Bonner's Point. Here in the red and white checkered is the ramp. Okay, so as you can see, we're using both docks, so we have to cut this ramp off when we are coming across both of these. Okay, so imagine a straight line from this second dock closest to the pavilion all the way over. Everyone needs to be behind that line. Every year we get ready to blast off. I've got boats over here against the dock tied up. I got boats floating out here where people are blasting. And you're not close to the dock, you're way over here. But then the problem is you have to make this big U shape and it takes too long. So please just be behind this imaginary line. Just can imagine that that dock right here continues all the way over to this point and stay behind that line. Boats 1 through 50 be up here close. 50 through 100 be over here. Senior division over 100. Push on back. Juniors, you need to be tucked all the way in back here at the cove. Okay, we had a tournament here in the fall, and we had, boat 120 that's sitting right up here by the dock, and everyone is trying to get around them the entire time. So please look at these numbers and stage accordingly wherever you see these. Juniors be in the very back, all the others here, but be behind this line. I will be calling numbers and doing announcements from this dock. You'll come past me, you'll get over here, and you'll get your peg and you'll check for all the violations. Okay. All right. Now getting into some specifics. All right. Anglers, start prepping when you're in line on the road here. Okay. You'll be backed all the way down this road. While you're on the road, go ahead and put your plug in. Go ahead and get everything out of the truck over into the boat. Anglers, go ahead and jump over into the boat. Get ready to go. When you come down here, be ready to go. Okay. Now, there are no lights down here. So please cut your lights off. Your headlights, once you get to this last yellow arrow, because you're blinding all the people on the ramp, we can run about three at a time, okay, on the ramp. So if we can get 100 boats over here, we're doing three at a time, it's going to take us 30 to 35 trips to get everyone in, okay? It takes a while. So you're going to follow the yellow arrows. You'll come around. Curtis will be here telling you which of the three lanes to get in. You'll pull up and back down. Okay. Once you finish, you will come up to the side and then go park up top. Okay. I think most of you know that. The biggest thing is once you get down to this area, be ready to go. Use this road to stage and be ready. Okay. Here's some of the new things. And this is where I really need you to start paying attention. Junior division. Okay. We're going to ask you to use the state ramp. Okay. Please use the state ramp when you put in the morning. All junior division anglers, there's like 68 of you. Okay. We are asking you to please not use Bonner's Point. And I'll explain why at weigh in. Okay. But because your weigh in is shorter, we're going to ask you to use the state ramp. That would be extremely helpful if every one of our junior boats put in at the state ramp, come over via water, and then just move to the back of the cove for blast off. Okay. Senior division. We have 138 boats. There's only boat parking for 105 boats at Bonners. I'm not going to assign senior division a particular ramp. What I'm telling you is some of you are going to have to use state. So senior division, feel free. Some of you can use state. Some of you can use Bonners. Do that as is convenient for you. But just keep in mind, if you're going to use Bonners, I would get there very early. Number one, we're shutting the ramp off. Number two, after there's 105 boats, there's nowhere else for boats to park at Bonners. We cannot pull boats um, outside of these parking areas. So after 105, if you're 110, 115 that show up at Bonners, you're going to not have a place to park. We ran into this a couple years ago. They had to go all the way back out, go find another ramp to park at. It created a nightmare. I would assign, but I know that our captains don't listen. Some of them don't watch the video, and then some of them, are have already for particular reasons, whatever the case may be, that they're using a certain ramp, and then it gets to be chaotic. So I'm just asking you, after 105, we can't park anymore at Bonners. So there's about 30 of you that are going to have to use the state ramp. More can. If you want to, if 80 of you want to go use the state ramp, that's fine. Junior division, please use the state ramp. Senior division, I'll leave it up to you. Some of you will use the state ramp and we'll be okay. Okay. Here's what cannot happen. I can have no boats parking anywhere on this road. Okay. So if this fills up, we do have a little extra. We're boats. Y'all can hop in right here by the bathrooms. Y'all can come along this side of the road, but you must be on the inside. You must be on the parking lot side of the road. Do not park your boats and trailers on the outside of this road. Okay. They will get towed on the outside. You're blocking driveways and everything else. You can hug the parking lot side, but do not park on this road. This lot right here and the outside of this road is absolutely off limits. Everything in right here will get you towed. You'll come back from the tournament, your vehicle will be gone. You cannot park on this side of the road at all. Okay. You cannot park on this side of the road. There's a couple entrances to go into this grass lot. This is private property. She will have you towed if you park in this lot. Absolutely no parking here. There is a gravel lot right here. We're going to use that for weigh-in. Not where the weigh-in will happen, but I'll explain that in a second. I don't need any boats. Well, this will be blocked off anyways. No boats parking right here. So from right here back, no boats. The senior division boats that show up at Bonners, I need you to work with us. I need you to park in the 105 spots that are here. And then in these red areas around, that's it. Okay, so I need some of you to be at the state ramp. And I know some of you would rather use the state ramp and have already told me you're planning on it. So it should be fine. But all junior division, I need at the state ramp. Okay, so this is the way that it should look. Absolutely no boats on down this road. Okay, this area right here will be blocked off. Guys, please do not move cones and caution tape. It's there for a reason. At our fall tournament, we had this lot blocked off with cones and caution tape. Somebody got out and moved the cone and then pulled into this lot. It's there for a reason. The sheriff's department, the county, our staff, somebody has set up. If you see cones and caution tape, leave them alone. That means that area is off limits. Okay. All right, let's look at the next one. All right, so some information for weigh-in. So we are doing everything at Bonners. It's Bonners Point Road, Wetumpka, Alabama. If you put that in, if you're a spectator trying to find it, that's how you get there. Okay. In red here, these are one of the changes that we're making. So the two big things when I met with a lot of other tournament directors and different associations in our state, we said we're going to look at a couple different things. One of the things is on the Coosa River chain, absolutely no trailered weigh-ins for any of the tournaments, which we don't trailer weigh-in on any of them except for this one. That's the reason we're not this time because that was an agreement we all had because trailer weigh-ins are just not preferred. They're okay this time of year, but not preferred at any time. So we're just going to leave it alone. Okay, with everything that's going on. The other thing they looked at was trying to reduce the number of fish that's brought in. Said right now they're wanting to go to that proposed regulation between 14 and 20 inches. Guys, those of you who are captains and anglers that do a lot of fishing, putting a slight limit of 14 to 20 on the Coosa will absolutely destroy tournament fishing. So one of their goals is to reduce the number of fish that is brought in so that overall fish mortality decreases. Obviously, if you have less numbers and less fish that are handled, less opportunity, even though that we know the rates are good. Okay, that's besides the point. So what a lot of the tournament trails are going to on the Coosa is they're creating their own size limit of 15, saying 15-inch minimum. And so they're just continuing the 12, 13, and 14 inch size limits. So that's one option. The other one was to leave the size limits the way that they are, but go to a 3 fish limit and reduce that. So that's what we're going to do. I know that's not popular with a lot of people, and I understand that. Okay. For the rest of this season, so this tournament and then the spring, all of our lakes that are on the Coosa River chain will be a 3 fish limit. Okay. And I understand the outcry. I understand the we don't necessarily like that. I get it. This is one of those things that we're willing to make some changes and adjustments now so that Department of Conservation is willing to sit at the table with us and actually discuss some options that we can do to get rid of that 14 to 20 proposed. Guys, if we don't make some drastic changes and that 14 to 20 inch regulation goes into play, tournament fishing as we know it in Alabama on the Coosa River will change drastically. Um, and so we've got to take some measures. So I understand that you may not like it. Just understand the reason that we're doing it. We'll relook at it next year. But for the rest of this season, we're going to go 3 fish limit on the Coosa chain. Depending on what we decide, and once we have those meetings with the Department of Conservation, we'll address that again. So please pay attention to the following information that's on the maps in the next few pages as I go into detail the way our weigh-in is going to look. Juniors, I've already talked about it. I'm going to need you to, you're going to all weigh in at Bonners, but I'm all going to need you to use the state route. Come over in the morning. In the afternoon, you're going to bring your peg back to Bonners to check in. Once you check in, captains, I just need you to drop your anglers off. I'm going to show you on the maps. Drop your anglers off with their fish. Let them come to the scales. Just stay in the cove. Let your boat float out there in the cove because there's not enough dock space. It's not like you can tie up, leave your boat, and come up there. We're going to need captains to stay in the boat. Okay, again, I know it's not ideal, but it's the safest thing for our anglers and our captains. It's the best thing for fish care. Okay, we need you to do that. Stay in the boats, drop the anglers off, go float out in the cove. Now, if you have, the ability to either beach it or pull up, do something like that, then that's fine. But we don't need you tying up dock space or at the ramp or the pier. We need dock space available all day. So juniors, you're going to be able to come on, weigh your fish, and then you can hop back on the boat. Y'all can leave, go back to the state ramp trailer and head to the house at any point that you want to. I'll address that a little bit more detail. Senior division, we'll address that when we get to it. So let's look at maps so this makes sense. All right. So here's some things that I need. Junior division, let's go to you first. So this is Bonners. You're going to return your peg right here at the end of probably this dock. They may be here, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be this dock. So you'll pick up your peg here in the morning, you'll return it to this one, but it'll be on the end of one of these docks. I need these docks to stay free all day. I need this little pier to stay free all day. Now, again, if you can anchor, if you can pull up to here, depending on what the water level is, inside of here or down through this way, that's fine. But I need this ramp, all this pier. We're going to set up down here. This little offshoot to the right will be off limits all day. Okay. So we'll have cones and tape going across here. No one but our staff will use this area. Okay. That's going to be off limits. So just know that ahead. I know this is another ramp right here, and this is like 3 or 4 handicap parking spots. If we need to accommodate you some way, if you can't walk from up here, we'll go park your boat for you so that you can get in the boat down here. But we cannot use this area. Okay, this is going to be blocked off. Our weigh-in trailer is going to be set up here, and I'll show you how that's going to look in a minute. So, junior division. Captains, when you come in, you'll turn in your peg right here. I need you to go ahead. You can kind of float in this area. Let's get our fish over into a bag. So when you turn in your peg, let your anglers off. They can run right here, pick up a bag. You can let them off right here. That's fine. Pick up a bag, hop back on the boat, put your fish in it. And then you can let them off at either place right in here. You can let them off on this bigger dock. You can let them off on this pier. They're going to bring their fish up. The stage, more than likely, is either going to be sitting right in front of the ramp or it's going to be sitting right here in this handicap parking area, wherever there's most visibility for spectators. So once you do this, anglers, you're going to come up. We're going to get you weighed pretty quick. We're going to be close to the water. Fish are able to get to the scales quickly. We're able to get them returned quickly. Okay, that's the goal of everything. So anglers, you're going to come cross stage, weigh your fish. Captains, you're going to be out here floating down in this cove somewhere with your boat. Once that's done, anglers, you have the option. The entire junior division weigh-in starts at 1. Awards will be finished by 1:45. So it's like a 45, 50 minutes. Captains, if you want your anglers to be able to stay, then I'm going to need you to just be out here in the cove for 45 minutes. It's not really any different than hanging out in the cove this morning or the morning of when you blasted off. You got in there and you sat out there in the cove for 30, 45 minutes. I just need you to do that again at weigh-in. Okay. So grab you something to eat, have you a sandwich ready, float out here, take you a bite to eat, let the anglers weigh in, and then let them stay for the weigh-in if they want to. Especially, we're going to do a lot of announcing where the cutoff is for awards. If you're above that cutoff, we would love for you to stay so you can get your individual award. If your team's doing really well and you want to stay for your team awards, that's fine. There's about 65 junior division boats. The cove is plenty big enough. All 65 of you can be out here floating. Okay. If that's what we have to do. Okay. Now, if you weigh in, you don't have any fish, you want to head to the house, turn your peg in, feel free to go ahead and go to the state ramp, put your boat on the trailer. That's the reason we're asking all of you to go to the state ramp, is so that once senior or junior division weigh in and awards is over, all of you can clear out. That's what we're after. We don't need you trying to load boats and stuff at Bonner's Point when we got senior division trying to come in. So we really need y'all weigh in to be over, and then we're going to let you clear out. Okay. Our last flight is at 1:30. We're going to run it as quickly as possible. We're going to try to be done at 1:45 to give you about a 10, 15-minute buffer before the senior boats start coming in. But if you don't want to stay for the weigh-in, we usually ask you to. We'd love for you to stay. At this particular tournament, if you don't have a lot of fish, if you don't think your team's doing well, if you end up getting a team award, we'll be glad to give it to you at another tournament. But feel free to weigh in, hop on your boat, go to the state ramp. Okay. If you want to stay, captains float. Once the weigh-in's over, anglers get on the boat, go to the state ramp. We just need you to clear out from Bonner's once that one's over. And I know some of you like to stay and watch the senior division. At this particular tournament, it's just going to be difficult. We need you to be there for the weigh-in for the junior division and then go put your boats on the trailer so that your tournament day's over. Senior division. Now let's get to yours. So senior division, 2 o'clock's come around. It's your time. So when you come and turn in your peg, same situation. Here's the difference. Some of you will be parked at Bonners, some of you will be parked at the state ramp. If you're parked at the state ramp, you're going to do the exact same thing that the junior division did. You're going to let your anglers off either here or here after you've returned your peg. They're going to grab a bag, get the fish, bring the fish up here. If you're at the state ramp, you cannot tie up to the docks and block them. Okay, we're going to need this dock space for people that are loading their boats. So we just need you to come out here and flow and float out here in the cove. Okay, use your power poles if you got them. There's places you can use your power poles right through here, or just go float. Okay, those of you, the 105 of you that parked at Bonners, I'm going to need you to go ahead and trailer your boat. Now, I still want the fish to the scales as soon as possible. So here's what that's going to look like. You're going to come back and you're going to turn in your peg. Once you turn in your peg, you're going to tie up to one of these two docks. You're not tying up and staying there to go watch the weigh-in. Okay. We need you to trailer your boat and get it out of the way. There's a good chance your boat gets hit if you try to tie up at 2 o'clock and sit there to 4 o'clock. Okay. So once you get back to Bonners, tie up, or if you got experienced anglers that can do it, let one of them off, go get your truck, and you get out away from the docks. Bring your trailer and boat or truck and trailer around, back it in, go ahead and load your boat. Now, do not pull up here with your fish. Your fish never need to leave this area. So once you get your boat on the trailer right here, let's go ahead and get our fish out. While one person is up here, senior division, a lot of times they can run the trolling motor, they can go get the truck. While one person's doing that, let the other angler come grab a bag. Get your trailer, your boat on the trailer. You'll have your fish in the bag. Anglers, go ahead and come here. Captain, I need you to take the truck and go back and park it. Go back and park exactly where you just came from. Okay. So you're going to come down, load the boat, go back and park in your same spot. But do not take the fish up here to this parking lot. Okay. Fish never need to leave this area. So trailer it, but take the fish out and come to the weigh-in before the boat goes up the hill. Okay. So same situation here. If you're going to stay for the weigh-in, this is the reason we've asked all the juniors to go, because that way there's none taking up this parking over here at Bonner's Point, because senior division weigh-in is longer. So 105 of you that are parked over here at Bonner's Point, go back and park your boat in that parking spot. You can stay for the weigh-in, walk and see whatever you need to do. Okay. The few senior divisions that use the state ramp, use your power poles, use spot lock, or captains eat you a sandwich and hang out there in the cove while the anglers weigh in. Again, if you're ready to leave, especially if you're at the state ramp, feel free to go on. We'll be announcing where that top 15 cutoff is at all times. And if you're not in the top 15 and you want to go ahead and head back to the state ramp, by all means, go. Okay. This is the best option. Guys, I've spent hours this week over here looking at it for a tournament our size. This is the best option that is safe for our anglers and our captains, and that is best for fish care. We're close to the water. Fish are going to be returned. We're not taking them off site. It's just not ideal because some captains are going to have to float. Our live stream will be running. So no matter whether you're parking a truck, no matter whether you're floating in a boat, you can watch it on YouTube, you can watch it on Facebook. You'll be able to see it. Okay. But you may not be able to walk right up there to it on this particular one. We just need you to work with us on this tournament. All right, let's go through a couple things real quick here. So this is what the weigh-in is going to look like for our um, uh, spectators. So this is Bonner's Point. This is right here is the handicap ramp and the ramp I just talked about. So we're going to be setting up our weigh-in at. Okay. Now, if you're not familiar with what's in the trees here, there is a large amphitheater here that's got concrete seats that go downhill so you can see this area very well. Okay. So anything on the outside of this road you cannot park on. Absolutely no parking right here. Guys, they will tow you if you park on this side of the road. There's no way. I say this every single time we have a tournament there and someone tries it, and then we have to stop weigh in and make announcements. If you're in the white Chevy truck parked on the side of the road with plate number, whatever, you're about to be towed. The lady that owns this land here does not like tournaments, and she does not like anybody outside of the road here. Okay. She will stand on her porch and call the sheriff's department. It is private property, so she can have you towed for parking on her property. Okay. It's not ideal. I'm asking you ahead of time to watch the video and know where you can park. Okay. So parking's going to be limited for spectators coming in. Please carpool. Okay. If you're coming with family members, stop and pick your mom and dad up. Stop and pick granny up. Stop and pick your aunt and uncle up, or your son or daughter. There's gas stations right up the road some. There's a Dollar General. There's a couple other places. Meet them somewhere and y'all get in one vehicle and come to Bonners. Okay. If you would reduce the number of vehicles, it will help us greatly. Okay. The other thing is we don't need any big team trailers. I know there's a lot of teams that have trailers, enclosed trailers where they're bringing their tents and food and tables. We don't need it here on this one. Okay. I know that that's very important to us. I love it. I love looking out from the stage and seeing all the tents and everything going on. For this one, we really don't need tents set up, but we definitely don't need trailers. Guys, there's nowhere to park your trailers. Okay. Please don't bring them to Bonner's Point. There's just nowhere to park. Now, if you want to swing through and drop something, that's fine. But please don't try to come park a boat in a trailer over here. Okay. Don't set up tents either. Okay. If you just absolutely have to have a tent, excuse me, it needs to be set up on into the woods, nowhere that you can put a car. Okay. We cannot block car parking for a massive tent setup. You're going to have to squeeze in the woods and put a tiny tent up in between trees. I would just rather say no tents. Okay. If you want to bring some food, find something that's easy like pizza or something to bring. Or we may just say on this one, we're just not able to do it. Okay. Um, but please do not come in here and set up tents and block this parking area. Okay. Next thing, individual cars, please do not pull in a boat parking area. When you come up, there's a good chance that you come to this parking lot. If you circle it, there you'll see an empty parking spot because we've got a boat and a trailer that has pulled down here to load their boat. They absolutely have to have that parking spot back. Cars, you will be towed if you are blocking boat parking. Please do not pull around and get into one of those lone parking spots. I'm going to show you the only places that you can park. Okay. So please watch the video and park there. Number one, this gravel lot. Okay. Um, we can probably get 40 to 50 vehicles in here. It's going to be tight. Be smart. When you pull into park, pull all the way up to the woods and leave as much room as possible. Pull in here, pull in here, pull in here. We can pull all the way up in this area. Just know if you bring your vehicle and you park in this area, try to be mindful and not block people in, but there's a good chance that you may get blocked in because there's going to be a lot of cars trying to park in this one parking lot. Okay. Try not to block people in though when you do it. If you get blocked in, just know that's a risk that you're taking when you come to park there. Okay. I'm just telling you ahead of time. Let's not have a big ordeal on the weekend because we weren't prepared ahead of time. There is plenty of room for spectators. Guys, we can have 500 spectators show up, and between the top of the bluff on the ground here and on the concrete pavers that are down through here, steps looking down to the weigh-in, we can have 500 people at the weigh-in. Spectators is not a problem. Okay, there's not really room for tents, and it's your vehicles. Reduce the number of vehicles that you bring to Bonners. There's plenty enough room for y'all to watch the weigh-ins. This is one of those that if you just don't absolutely have to come to, Facebook Live, YouTube Live is a great alternative for having to get into the mess. Okay. With that being said, here are some other places you can park. If it's red, you can park there. Now, nowhere ever on the outskirts of this area can you park. You cannot park on this side of the road. You cannot park on this side of the road. You cannot park here. You cannot park here. The outside of the road is off limits. That's private property. You will be towed. Okay. Same thing right here. No parking on the street on the outside. This right here will be blocked off with cones. You will be towed. This right here you will be towed. Do not park on the outside of the road. Okay. You can park in the gravel. No boats are parking here. We're going to have it blocked off in the morning for boats. This is just for parents and spectators. You can get 30 to 40 vehicles in this area. Okay. It's bigger than it looks on the map. I assure you, we spent a lot of time there. You can get 30 or 40 vehicles in here. Other than that, you can come into the parking lot and you look for the red areas. This is the only place that cars can park if it's available. These parking spots right here, there's a few of them. I think there's 8 or 9 there. Boats can't fit there. Okay, so this is a fine. You can pull straight in to these few parking spots. There's 8 or 9 cars that can get there. Once you turn anywhere, this is the only time on the outside, and you can see there's a wooden fence or a metal fence that kind of blocks it. But right here where the stripes are at, right by the bathroom, cars can pull in here. If you'll pull in and actually face this way, you can stack a lot of cars in here as well. So once that small lot right here gets filled, you can park here. Once you get up onto the actual road, you can see Bonners Point Road right here. Once you get up here to this loop, anything on the outside is personal property and you'll be towed. You need to hug the inside. These are shrubs that run all the way around. So you can park on the side of the road, get over as far as you can to these shrubs, because you have to leave enough room on the road for our boats and trailers to get through here. Okay, don't park in the middle of the road where nobody can get by you. Get way off the road in the grass. You can park all the way around through here and on the inside here. Again, this is off limits. This will get you towed personal property. This is public property. Park on the roadside on the grass toward the parking lot all the way up to here. Okay, spectators, if you will park in the gravel and in these areas in red, we can get all of you in there at Bonners. Boats, you've got to stay in the boat parking. Okay. And no spectators or single vehicles should ever be in any of these parking spots. Okay. All right. Off limits, Bunners Point Cove, off limits all day long. Okay. So if we go back to the cove, I'm not sure exactly right here. This entire cove, anything behind this orange line, this is off limits the entire day for fishing. We're gonna have a lot of activity going on. We don't need anyone in there. Okay. And then 50 feet away from all anglers. Guys, we had to pull 2 captains last tournament and talk to them at the weigh-in because of how close they were fishing to other people, and how close they were running. If you get within 50 foot of another angler and they can figure out your boat number and take a picture or video of it, we're going to pull you to the side and have discussions. And if we keep getting the same ones violating this, you're going to eventually be DQ'd from a tournament. You got to stay away from other anglers. It's common courtesy, common decency. Don't come up and fish on top of other people. It's not safe either. And that's when it's one of our rules. Y'all are running way too close to other people. Weather report. Okay. It's going to be wet on Saturday. Temperature's not going to be bad. It's going to be 44 that morning. It's going to be up to 60 degrees, a little warmer than it's been the last several days. But 84% chance of rain. Some other weather reports I've looked at said 50 or 60%, but pretty good chance that we're going to have some rain. So it's going to be a wet weekend. All right, standard rules. This video has been extremely long, so I'm not going to go through these. You can see them on the screen. It's the same ones we've always had. Guys, life jackets has been our big ones. Some of you have had like a stern drive or excuse me, tiller handle, tilling steer boats. Those are off limits for our tournaments. That's in our rules as well. You need to make sure that you actually have a wheel for a steering wheel. And then when you come through the check, guys, but life jackets is the biggest one. We've already covered a lot of that stuff. This is where you can find the results. So if you find this page at the end, we're going to post, you can see it by team. We're going to post where you can see it by boat. We'll also have the year-to-date, up-to-date totals where you can see where your team stands. Sponsors, I hit a lot the other day. I sent out an entire email and a video detailing every one of our sponsors, what all they do. So I'm not going to do it on this video, but check that video out. It's on YouTube. It's on Facebook. I also emailed it to you. Check that video out. It gives you a lot of knowledge about our sponsors and what they offer to our members. And I also went into detail covering all of these discount codes. I know a lot of you are looking for these in order to do some Christmas presents or just in general. So I emailed this out to you as well. So be sure to check that out. So with that, I know this is a very long video compared to what we normally do, but I think it's very important to address these issues in detail, to send it out via email as well as social media to make sure that if you don't know what's going on Saturday, it's not because we didn't tell you. We put the information out there as many ways as we possibly can. We ask you to be open-minded this week. We ask you to work with us, give it a shot. Let's see how it works. Please follow the things that we requested. Juniors, please use the state ramp. Senior division, please do the things we ask you for weigh-in. Please don't take your fish to the top of the parking lot. Do the things that we ask in this video. Be open-minded and look for the positives in it. Again, we know it's not ideal. We know that 3 fish limit is not ideal. We know that the way we're doing this with no tents and no team trailers, we know it's not ideal. But we do think it's the best option with the proposed regulations that are out there to help with the public perception and say that we are making strides and we are doing things to do our part to help the Coosa River survive these proposed regulations and possibly come up with a better option. And we are doing things that's going to keep our anglers and captains safe as well as take care of the fish. So be very positive online. Help us with any of the negative things that you see online. That goes a long way in the world when there are people that are part of the association that knows what's going on, knows the links that we go to take care of things that are kind of keeping those things in check. So we appreciate all of you. We know that you can choose anyone to fish with. We love having you all as part of ASA BFA. If you have any questions about this weekend, shoot them to us on comments on the videos on social media. Reach out to me via text message, phone call, email. We'll get all those addressed for you. Otherwise, we hope you have a great week. We look forward to seeing you all this weekend.